Training camp is fast approaching, but not as fast as Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. We've got all you need to know if you're heading to Spartanburg. Plus, Bryce Young signs a deal with Bojangles. Squaon Barkley could be holding out. And Panther fans are upset about Madden Ratings. What's new? Let's get into the news. Let's start with Jordan Addison. Vikings 2023 first-round pick is cited for going 140 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. This is the time you don't want to be in the news, and let's hope that the Carolina Panthers stay out of the news. We want to avoid three things: injuries, arrest, and citation. And Jordan Addison got a heck of a citation here. In his Lambo at 3 a.m., was hitting 140 miles an hour, guys. Boy, when the Minnesota Vikings drafted him, they expected him to be fast on the field. I don't know if they expected him to be this fast off the field. We're heading to training camp next week. We're going to be at Monster Subs on July 27th doing a live broadcast, a live podcast right after training camp. But we'll also be there the 26th, the 27th, the 29th, the 31st. The C3 Panthers podcast is going into Spartanburg, and we're going to have a blast. Guys, you'll need to do something new this year and get tickets before you go. You're going to have tickets to get entry. Not the easiest thing to find on the Panthers website. I just Googled Panthers training camp. I'm sure maybe if you go to Ticketmaster, you can just put in Panthers training camp. But the easiest thing for me was to Google Panthers training camp and hit this claim free tickets. You want to be aware of some of the rules, though, if you're heading into Spartanburg, and the rule is to stay hydrated, folks. It is going to be a scorcher. Can bring in coolers with outside food and drink, no alcohol, right? So you'll want to pack that cooler full of some cold water, maybe a protein bar to keep energy going because you're going to be burning some calories. You can bring in some backpacks. You can bring in containers with medical supplies. I suggest a lot of sunscreen in this process. And here, maybe a chair, folding chair, could be helpful. Umbrella would be nice. You'll just want to make sure. You can even bring in a selfie stick to take pictures. But here's some things you can't do. No vapes, folks. I'm not a vapor. I know a lot of people are. No smoke in there, and vapes are included. We'll probably see a bunch of people trying to puff it into their shirt or whatever they do. Watch out. They'll be looking for that. And most importantly, I think for me, is no filming of training camp. So you are allowed to take pictures of yourself. You can come hang out with the C3 crew. We'll take pictures before and after and during, have fun. We'll be using those selfie sticks, I guess, as best as we can, but we can't be filming the Panthers players and the Panthers practice. Last year, I know they were pretty tight on that, and I expect it to be tight again. Panther fans are upset about Madden ratings. I don't know if they should be, but they always are. Every fan base always feels disrespected in Madden. The thing here is that no Carolina Panthers made it into the 90s. Brian Burns with the highest overall rating of 87. This guy is the best player on the team and rightfully should be ranked the highest. I'm sure Bryce Young will be up there before you know it. But a lot of people kind of are just interested. You look at these overall ratings, 87, Brian Burns, Miles Sanders, 86. Some of the people have gotten upset about about J.C. Horn's number. If we look at Brian Burns, though, one of the things that if you look across fans who are always talking about Madden and upset about this, they point out things like this is, look, Hassan Reddick, Brian Burns had fantastic seasons last year, and they're ranked lower than Joey Bosa, who has been struggling with injury and has not, maybe has the name recognition that comes with his brother, but maybe that name recognition doesn't apply to his performance on the field. He's kind of riding the coattails, according to some people. Hassan Reddick, he had like 17 sacks or something crazy last year. How's he just getting a 90? It's got to be, I guess, his run block rating, I would expect. Man, Brian Burns, should he be in the 90s? Is he getting disrespected here? And another one that people have been pointing out is J.C. Horn, who a lot of people argue when he's on the field, he is a top 5 corner. Right? The problem is he's just not on the field all the time. Right now, he's even suffering with an ankle injury, and the Panthers need him. His overall rating is an 83, but if you go and check out Little Rocket NASA, great follow on Twitter, he kind of points this out. Is like, look, 60-year-old Patrick Peterson has a better rating than J.C. Horn. Patrick Peterson is old. I think he plays for the Steelers now at this point. He was a good corner for a long time, but the name matters in Madden. And I almost think that Madden does this on purpose to drum up a lot of talk and discussion. But it's always great to see pictures of players who have terrible likenesses. I think Austin Corbett Brady Christensen is black in this Madden, right? And I think it was our kicker also has a kind of funky visual representation of him. Will Squaon Barkley hold out? All options are on the table, according to Giants running back, after contract talks sputter. They were unable to reach a long-term deal between the running back and the New York Giants. And he went on All About the Money podcast and, kind of voiced his frustration because right now he's got kind of two options: that's sign the franchise tag or sit out. And they asked him, like, what can you do? What's your leverage? And he responded bluntly, my leverage is I could say fuck you to the Giants. I could say fuck you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show up to show my worth? I won't show up and I won't play it down. But he did temper this by saying, anybody who knows me knows that that's not something I want to do. But he's kind of in his mind being pushed to a point where he has to consider this. He continued, but now I'm at a point where it's like, Jesus, I might have to take this to the next level. Bryce Young agreed to a partnership with Bojangles, right? We have expected this, and you can expect a lot of cute commercials when it comes to the new adorable face of the Panthers franchise. You got to wonder what Bryce Young's go-to meal is when he goes to Bojangles. My guess is a 4-piece chicken supreme with honey mustard and a Bo-Berry biscuit that he eats crisscross applesauce in the locker room after dropping 350 yards and 3 touchdowns on the opponent. How adorable that looks. What is your go-to order when you go to Bojangles? For me, when it's not in the dinner mode, right, when I'm in breakfast mode, it's steak, egg, and cheese sandwich with the Texas Pete hot sauce. Whatever that steak mystery meat is, delicious. Steak, egg, and cheese biscuit, hot sauce with some bow rounds and hot sauce, always pretty good on my list. Get in the comments and tell me what your favorite or go-to meal at Bojangles is. And do you like Bojangles as a tailgate special? It's an easy pickup and always fun. Remember the Steve Smith, Jake Delhomme commercials. Now we're going to get some great ones with Bryce Young. Woe to me. Fantasy football experts are warning that Miles Sanders may not be a great fantasy football option. I'm not in this camp, but Bill Enright from Sports Illustrated, fantasy football expert, says it took Sanders 4 years, the best offensive line in the NFL, and defenses simultaneously focusing on Jalen Hurts' rushing ability to crack 1,000 yards and score double-digit touchdowns. Now his situation is dramatically different. Rookie Bryce Young will likely be the starter for the majority, if not the entire season. If it isn't Young, it's Andy Dalton. Sanders will finish as a low-end running back 2 with minimal upside at his 5th-round average draft position. I'll be passing on this former Eagles rusher while laughing at everybody who's taking him in every single draft. He is laughing at me because I've already drafted him in the C3 Panthers Listener League. What do you guys think about Enright's take on Miles Sanders? Can he be a fantasy stud or will he be a fantasy bust? Guys, the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest-running Panthers podcast, is around. It's heading to training camp. We're ready to hang out with you, but don't forget, check us out Tuesday night, 9 p.m., latest Panthers news and opinion. Fridays, your chance to lead the discussion on the Friday Free-for-All, and make sure you hit the thumbs up for these news editions. We'll be bringing you the news and notes throughout the season. Keep pounding, folks.